Hi folks, this is just another video that I'm making, and it's about two-spirited people and ceremony. I've been asked several times to speak about two-spirited people in ceremony and where we fit in, how we fit in, um, why we're not being included in ceremonies, what can we do to change that, should we be in ceremonies. And my personal view, which comes from a lot of experience, is that first and foremost, as Indigenous people, we have a right to be in ceremonies. It's our inherited right. It's something that has been passed down from generation to generation to us, and we have a right to be in ceremony. As two-spirited people, we were removed from ceremony after colonization happened. We were removed because of that gender binary that was brought into us. We were removed because we didn't fit into that mold that was put onto so many people, our Indigenous families, that had their own ceremonies removed from them because they were different. They were different than those who came here on those boats and wanted to make change and said they discovered Canada and America. Well, we know we were already here long before then, so we weren't discovered. We always were. And when they came here, though, they had their own religions. They had their own ways of being. They had their own ways of doing things. And ours were very different. We were a very open and accepting society that welcomed every person as part of creation. Each person was given gifts from the Creator, and they were to use those gifts for the good of the community, to make sure communities were healthy and that things and people were equal. There was no hierarchy. We were all valuable. But when those people came here, they came with a system of hierarchy. They came with a system of superiority. They put people into classes. They put people into categories. They removed rights from a lot of people. And part of those people were the two-spirit people. So when they came here and they seen women dressing as men, men dressing as women, people being gender neutral, they didn't understand that. And so they made it illegal. They said that what we were doing was wrong and that we couldn't be who we were. Our societies had many genders, some 7, 8, 9, 10 genders in a society, others 2, 3, 4. It's each nation has its own needs and had its own people to take care of those needs that communities needed. The two-spirited people were the caregivers. They were the active listeners. They were the ones who were equivalent to psychologists and medical doctors and caregivers. They were the hunters. They were the gatherers. They were the medicine people. Two-spirited people were taught all responsibilities in a community from the time of from early age, and part of that included us attending ceremonies, and included us being present, being actively involved in learning those responsibilities, so that we could step into any position that was needed in a community, which is different than today and a lot of beliefs from people today. We have those that say women are the water carriers and that's their responsibility, and men are responsible for the fire and that's their responsibility. Well, those roles and those responsibilities are interchangeable, because if you're in a community and there's no, if women are only the water keepers and there's no men around, well, who's going to light those fires? Who's going to keep those home fires burning to keep people warm? And if there's only men around and there's no women around, who's going to take care of that water? Who's going to speak to that water and do those ceremonies that are done with water, right? So for two-spirited people, we're those intertwining people that take on all those responsibilities. And we did have our places in ceremonies, and we were honored for keeping balance in communities. But that was all taken away from us. And now we have people who still are following that gender structure because that's what they learned. They learned that and had it forced on them. So it became, and is, there's still their belief system nowadays. There still is a lot of people who, believe when you have a mixed sweat that women have to sit on one side and men on the other. Well, where do the two-spirit people sit? I've heard some people say, well, they can sit right in the middle. Well, you're still putting us separate, right? If you're putting us in the middle, you're putting us separate. We're not being included because we're not with the men, we're not with the women, we're separate by ourselves. In my understanding, we should be able to sit where we feel comfortable, where we feel that we relate to. When you're in ceremony, you're there to pray and to heal and to do work. You're not there to see who is what gender. You're not there to look at someone in an awkward way. You're there to do work. Ceremony is work. Ceremony is love. Ceremony is about healing. Ceremony is about hearing those teachings. And, we should be there. And I know a lot of facilitators are still very gender-oriented. There's still some that will not allow you into a full moon ceremony without a skirt. The skirt doesn't make us any more womanly. The skirt has teachings which are very valuable and very important. But if we're born with female genitalia and you want to attend a full moon ceremony, but you walk as a two-spirited person, and that skirt makes you feel uncomfortable, if you're going to be forced to go into a ceremony wearing a skirt, all you're going to be thinking about is how uncomfortable you are in that ceremony, how this is not you, who you truly are. This is not how you identify and how you relate to yourself. So you're not going to hear those teachings. You're not going to be comfortable. You're not going to want to go back again. And if you don't want to go back again, well then how are you going to receive those healings and those teachings if you're not present? So, I see some people are changing. I see some of our elders are bringing back the acceptance of two-spirited people. A lot of them are still not quite inclusive as I feel, and my understandings and my teachings are that two-spirited people should be included, but they're really making an effort, and things are changing, but they're not there yet. They're not all the way there. As a sun dancer, where I danced, men are on one side and women were on the other side. There was no spot for two-spirited people. It wasn't even spoke about. Now there's sun dances where the Sundance captains will ask a person who they are. And when you're asked who you are, it's not only, your name and and your nation, it's who's your family and who are you as a person. And when you identify as a two-spirited people, there are some sun dances now that say, well, you tell me who you are, and that's where you go, and that's the side that you sit on, and that's the side that you dance on. So we have people who, may have been born with one gender, but identify with another gender. And so they go to the side that they identify with. And that's the way ceremony should be. Ceremony should be about us being present in the identity that we feel we are, not the identity that someone who they look at us and they think who we are. So, that's another thing, that we have to be accepted for who we are. And people have to hear us when we say who we are and treat us according to who we say we are. So when it comes to ceremony, yeah, we should be in ceremony. And we should be having conversations with our ceremony conductors. And we should be having mindful, respectful conversations. We should never go to someone when we're angry and upset and expect to speak to them, because our minds are not focused. Our minds are not thinking and acting and hearing clearly. We should always be prepared to sit down with, a ceremony conductor and say, what are your protocols for ceremony? And how do you make space for me as a two-spirited person? How am I accepted into your lodge, into your space, into that ceremony? Do you acknowledge me? Do you understand who I am? Do you support who I am? And those ceremony conductors are the ones that will tell you how they feel and what their teachings are and what their expectations are. And there are people out there, there are ceremony conductors out there that will welcome you as the two-spirited gifts that you are. I've said before in other videos that we're the balance bringers. Two-spirited people bring the balance to communities. And they're multi-adaptable. They can, take on any responsibility in a community to bring that balance and that support. So, we carry those gifts. We carry that gift of balance. And when it comes to ceremony has to be balanced as well. Much like our heokas who bring that balance, right? They come in when people are crying, they're laughing. When people are laughing, they're crying. There's those opposites that make people stop and think and look at things and have a different understanding than what they learned or maybe what all they know. So they bring new understandings. Us as two-spirited people, we are frustrated. We're tired. We've had to fight for everything, every right, every opportunity to be included, to be respected. And things are getting better. Our young people are really identifying now as non-gender conforming. They don't want to be in those genders, those two gendered boxes. They want to be able to express themselves how they see themselves, which is no different than what we've been trying to do for years. They want to be accepted for who they are. And, they're really picking up those responsibilities of carrying on the fight for equality. And I'm so happy to see that. They're bringing in many different gender representations, and explaining, to everyone, including me, new gender identities, because people are finally finally able to say their words in what they want to say. They're feeling safe enough, and they're feeling secure enough, and they're feeling supported enough to be able to speak out. And it's our job as if you're older like me, to support them. It's our job to stand behind them and teach them how to present themselves with respect and kindness and love and knowledge, because it's kind of hard to fight against knowledge. It's kind of hard to fight against someone who is being very respectful to you, even though the person they're talking to may be very disrespectful, and you're not losing your cool, and you're not flying off the handle, and you're not getting loud because you're not feeling heard. But to speak to those people that are not understanding gender diversity in a kind, respectful, gentle way, and an assertive way, but not an aggressive way. So as two-spirited people, we're able to do those things. We're able to keep our balance. And the young people are becoming the experts on that. So I'm very happy to see that. And I strongly support our young people in ceremonies. And any ceremonies that I do and facilitate, they're very gender diverse. I mean, there is no just, women on one side, men on another side. It's you tell me where you're comfortable, and that's where you will be. And that's the way it should be. You're there to learn. You're there to be respectful. You're there to pray. You're there to learn our cultural teachings and ways so that you can take them forward for the next 7 generations. And I'm here to support you. And I'm here to advocate for you. And I'm here to respect you. And I'm here to share with you anything that I may know that may help you on your journey. So, two-spirited people in ceremony, yeah, let's get back into ceremonies. Let's open those doors up again and feel proud and safe and secure when we walk through them again. And let's sit in those ceremonies and learn those beautiful teachings that our people have carried on from generation to generation, that have sustained us since the beginning of time, that have helped us work through all kinds of adversities, that has helped us to be survivors and to thrive and to be able to work with little to nothing and to still consider ourselves as very successful and very, very wealthy. Because when we have peace of mind and peace of heart, we can work through anything. So I wanted to share this message with you and let you know that, yeah, we should be in ceremonies as two-spirited people. And I strongly support you, and I will help advocate with you. And I hope that we will sit together in ceremony. And I hope that you will allow me to still share what I know with you. And I hope that you will share with me your ways of being, your teachings, your understanding, your desires, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Because we need each other. We need each other to be balanced. We need the younger with the older. We need the knowledgeable with the less knowledgeable. We need the gifts that each of you carry to be well-rounded and supported and balanced. Because we all bring something to the table, and we all bring those gifts. And when we can share those gifts with each other, we're very rich indeed. We're very wealthy indeed. And we become so much more knowledgeable. So be well. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm on Facebook. Contact me. I'll be glad to work with you. And let's keep moving forward in a good way. And put aside all our frustrations and anger that it's taken this long to get to where we are. And instead focus on we are moving forward and we're never going back. And I heard the saying, there was never any closets in our teepee, so we're never going back in any closets. We never should have been put in any closets, because in our world we were accepted, and we will be again. So have a great day. I hope you like this video. And until we meet again, Bomapi, hi hi, miigwech, walalin.